after I was unhappy. This is episode 12 of the Changemakers of East Texas. Let's talk Facebook Lives. Maybe you're catching the recording later. Yesterday, I was at the post office and I was trying to pay. I was using the self service machine and I was trying to pay for my postage and like my debit card wouldn't go in. It's like, this is weird. What's going on? And then finally I realized, oh, there's a debit card already in there. And it was the same color as the metal, so I didn't notice it right away until I was like, for the second or third time, trying to shove my debit card in there. And so I quickly pulled it out and I went inside the lobby or up to one of the workers and I was like, I found this debit card in the machine outside in the lobby, and he was like, oh no, the guy was just in here looking for it. And so we ran out the building and we're looking up and down, and this guy was nowhere to be seen. He was already gone. And I just thought as I was driving away, I was like, oh, that poor guy. He's probably so worried right now. This is his debit card. And the employee at the post office said that the young man had said he's a college student. And I just thought, oh, when you're a college student, you have, limited funds. And so I just felt so bad for him. And so when I got home, I posted on a couple different Facebook groups trying to find him. And so I hope that he finds his debit card. Hopefully he comes back to the post office to see again if anyone has found it, because it has been found. It was turned in. And he's going to be happy again. He's going to feel relief. He's going to feel so glad that crisis is over. He's got his debit card. Everything's good. But until that moment of finding out that his debit card had in fact been turned in, no one used it to buy 87-inch TVs, if that exists. um, he's gonna, in the meantime, he might be feeling really awful. He might be feeling so stressed and worried, and he has no idea that he doesn't need to feel that right now, because it's actually okay. Things are fine. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a villain. I don't steal money from people. So, but what a kind of a powerful moment in a way for me. I was like, oh, this poor guy, he's really suffering right now, and he doesn't know that he doesn't need to. He doesn't know that the outcome is already working in his favor. Things are going to be okay. They already are okay. He just needs to go back to the post office and ask one more time if anyone's found it. And so I have this chart here. I don't think you'll be able to see it too well on the screen, but this is from Brene Brown's book that I've referred to in other podcast episodes. But Atlas of the Heart, I love this graphic that I purchased on Etsy. But this artist went ahead, the graphic designer went ahead and took her Brene Brown's book and put it into this emotions wheel based on the categories that Brene Brown goes through in her book. And so if we look for happiness, it's right here. I don't know if you can see that, but we experience happiness when life is good. Things are kind of moving along. Things feel like they're working in our favor, that, we don't have anything to be concerned about. Everything is going according to plan, quote unquote. And so life is good. We feel happy. Other emotions we might feel when life is good, we might feel joy. We might feel calm, contentment, gratitude, relief, tranquility. So we have kind of the rest and digest state of our nervous system when life is good, and we feel that happiness. When we kind of zoom out and look at this whole chart, look at all these different emotions and emotional experiences that we are capable of having in different circumstances of our life. So we're hurting, we go to grief, sadness, despair, hopelessness, anguish, etc. Things don't go as planned. We feel frustration, resignation, discouragement, regret, expectations, disappointment, boredom. We have all these different emotions that we might experience depending on what's going on in our lives. Unhappiness is one of those situations where our nervous system is triggered into our into our kind of limbic system where we're very emotional. We're not as rational in thinking. The prefrontal cortex is kind of offline, and we're basically living off of, the amygdala firing the stress response. We might be in fight mode or flight mode when things are not going well, and or freeze. And so if we're experiencing unhappiness, we're in a condition of thinking that something's gone wrong. Things are not working out. It's kind of a doom and gloom experience. But there's good news. We're supposed to feel all of these emotions at some point because we experience so many different circumstances. We interact with so many different people who have their own circumstances that they're dealing with, their own nervous system. We're going to feel a whole range of emotions in our lives. I titled this episode After I Was Unhappy because I, like a year ago or so, I saw like a very popular influencer had posted on Instagram, let's normalize these. And she had this whole long list. And one of the things she said was to get divorced because you're unhappy in your marriage. And I was in a moment of vulnerability. So I was kind of in a time of some turbulence with my spouse where just like, oh, we're just having a hard time kind of figuring something out. And so to see that on my screen, get divorced because I'm unhappy, it jolted me into thinking, but I've been unhappy before, and then I've been happy again. Is that really a reason to get divorced just because I'm unhappy in a particular time? And maybe that unhappiness for somebody is lasting years. And that's really difficult. And I'm not here to say who should get divorced, who should not get divorced. I'm not making a statement about that. But for me personally, in that moment, it got me thinking, is that really the reason and cause for my divorce if I were to get divorced? Would that really be the solution to my unhappiness? Because I've been unhappy before. We've had, of course, like everybody, we've had disagreements. We've had really hard things to go through. And we've repaired. We've healed. We've come back together and figured things out and talked and reconciled. And so to make a major life decision in the context of I'm not happy was very shocking and jolting to me. And so I wanted to offer this. Whenever you're feeling unhappy in your life, I invite you to look back to another time when you were unhappy, a circumstance that was difficult or frustrating or was less than ideal. And then what did you do with that? How did you resolve your problem? How did you come out with new understanding and perhaps more compassion for somebody? Or you acquired a new skill? And look at how you got through that last time that you were unhappy. And look for the times since then that you experienced happiness again. I want you to think about that. We will always experience unhappiness at times in our lives, but it doesn't have to persist, and it doesn't have to determine major decisions right off the bat. And I would like to suggest that every time you look back to another time you were unhappy and evaluate how you grew from it, that you then take that with you into the present when you're feeling unhappy again and remind yourself, I'm going to be a fuller and more complete human being because of this challenge that I'm experiencing right now. I will be happy again. And at times it feels like it's over. I'm never going to be happy again. I remember feeling that way specifically when I was in college and my older brother had taken his life. And just 3 months before that, I had survived a serious car accident. I very much believed I would never be happy again. That was the end. Okay, I used up my happiness quota. I'm 19 years old. That's it. Well, now I'm 46, and I have to say, I've been happy a lot. I've been happy many times. I've experienced joy, I've experienced contentment, all these wonderful feelings when life is good, because it will be good again. Things do have a way of calming, healing, resolving. We are so capable as human beings of finding solutions. But we've got to get into the thinking part of our brain. We have to move out of the emotional and I always like to say hyperbolic. It's all over. Nothing's good. Everything's wrong. We have to calm that down, bring back the thinking part of our brain, and then we can start to really see how we can navigate this and work through it and not feel like a total victim, but to see how we are strong and capable and we will come out stronger and better on the other side. Um, so, this is important to understand also about the human body and brain. So, our brain is able to look to the past. I can remember 26 years ago when my brother died and I felt like I was never going to be happy again. I can remember that. And if I really take the time to think carefully and deeply about it, I can really start to feel those emotions again. I can like relive it, right? So our brain is also able to be present to think about right now. Like this poor guy in the moment looking for his debit card, could not find it anywhere, probably was checking his pants, his wallet, his car, checking the floor at the post office, looking everywhere. And I'm standing there at the machine having no clue. This poor guy is probably frantic, but that poor guy in the moment, things are terrible. And I have a lot of compassion for him because I can think back to when I have lost my wallet or misplaced my debit card, or I'm at the checkout and I don't have my wallet, it's at home, things like that. It's like, or losing money, or, so I understand that. I understand that pain. I can bring it back. I can remember it. But then our brain can also look to the future. We make a lot of guesses, we can make lots of assumptions. And when we're doing that from an emotional limbic system, fight flight state in our nervous system, most likely the future we project and predict is a terrible one. We're expecting the worst. Someone found my debit card. Now they're going on a shopping spree. I don't know this young man's thinking that, but that's a possibility. You're thinking ahead, and when you're in that fight or flight of panic and anger and all the doom, then you're going to imagine the worst. The thing that's so fascinating then is that our body, though, is always in the present. So if I can remember and think back to, times of unhappiness, my body can feel it again. I can feel my muscles just tightening up and hardening, um, and like my whole body might slump a little bit more. My eyes might get smaller, and my heart rate might slow down, and my breathing slows down into this kind of, depressed state. And I can do the same thing looking forward to the future. Someone found my debit card. Now they're on a shopping spree, and there's going to be thousands of dollars charged. That might create an anxiety that gets my heart rate faster, gets my breathing faster. It might get me, I'm going to be tense. Like our bodies can do so many things, and they're responding to exactly whatever we're thinking about and whatever we're expecting and whatever we're assuming, or, making our predictions of the future. But the great news is that we can bring our body back into alignment with what's really happening right now. And we can go use our special magical superpowers of recall and memory and bring back those moments that we were unhappy and worried and things were going badly or seemed to be, uh, you know, all is lost. We can recall them and see, how did I resolve it last time? What did I learn last time? How did I get through it? Who did I talk to? Who did I get help from? Because I don't have to do this all on my own. There are other people with wisdom and experience who can look to the past and recall and teach me. That's a wonderful thing. That's why we need communities, right? We need families, we need support, we need friends. So when you've been unhappy, how did you get through it? What do you now know? Did you learn from a mistake? Did you learn from somebody else's errors? Did you find a new skill and develop a new ability? And when did you become happy again and why? And how can you use that information of your personal past and apply it to right now when you're feeling unhappy again? Because the number one thing that can help us so much when things are hard is to make peace. Number one, make peace with the fact that we are capable of experiencing a whole array of emotions. And that's good and normal. And that's our body and our brain processing, learning, making sense of our experiences. This is just us working. Our body works, our brain works, our nervous system works. This is what they do. We can also decide how we want to proceed, how we want to handle this difficult situation where we feel unhappy. Do we want to recall the past and bring forward those new tools that we gained the last time and reassure ourselves that we'll get through this one too? Because when we do that, we create hope. When we have hope, we can calm our body and our nervous system and start to pull up the thinking, the processing, the problem solving, the planning for the future, like all these like really intricate and technical parts of our brain that are so much more nuanced and so much more highly developed and refined than our primal caveman throwing a fit because something's not going well. We can elevate ourselves when we recall the past in a way that creates hope. Hope for right now, hope for the future. Hope is a powerful remedy for anxiety. Hope is a powerful remedy for depression. Hope is a powerful motivator to find solutions. Hope is a powerful way to navigate the ups and downs of life. After I was unhappy, I was happy again. I can have hope that even though something is really hard right now, I know things will get better. They always have. They always will when I'm willing to open myself up to a new possibility, a new outcome that I wasn't planning on. I wasn't planning on this situation or circumstance. I wasn't planning on this outcome, but the hope that I generate from pulling up the past as a tool for me right now to generate that hope and help me to move forward, then I feel empowered and I feel stronger and I feel more capable. And that's what resilience is. I like to think about resilience as being very biological. Our bodies are feeling things, we're experiencing it. We're experiencing our emotions. We feel it in the muscles. Our digestive system is impacted, our heart, our lungs, our eyes, our ears. Everything is taking in this information and being affected by it. Hope can do wonders for calming our bodies, restoring health, helping systems to flow in a more optimal way. Hope is a wonderful gift, and you choose to give it to yourself by believing that things will get better. So if you have a situation where it's been going on and on and on and on and on, it's been persisting, maybe it's a relationship problem, financial issues, whatever it could be, the more that you give yourself opportunity to be happy anyway. Allow yourself to find other things to be happy about. There might be a situation you just can't be happy about that. Someone's suffering, something's gone like detrimentally wrong. I mean, you can't be happy about a major disaster. You can't be happy about, a major loss. But can you find people that you can be thankful for who've maybe stepped up and done something for you? Can you find reasons to be glad it's not worse? At least it's not this. That's a small way to just kind of shift into a mode of believing that things will be better, believing that things can improve, that you can gain skills and you can be the one to make a change, to change the outcome or the trajectory of your circumstance. And so much of it is you choosing it, choosing to adopt thinking patterns that give you a feeling of hope in your body. Your body's the tool. It's biological. What you're feeling is real. These are real experiences, and so when you're unhappy, look for the things that will help to spark a little bit of happiness, and it will continue to light your path until you really find your solution. You find reconciliation. Even if the circumstance isn't fixed, you can find it and feel it within yourself, which is really powerful. And I wanted to also call your attention to episode 5 that I think might fit well with this, where I talked about walking with grief. When you're feeling grief, that is an intense sadness. You're not happy, and it's okay to not try to be happy in the moment. Give yourself time to grieve. Give yourself time to process what's happening. Give yourself time to work through it, and then and be patient with yourself, and understand that the cycle of grief goes like this. It's not linear, but it does kind of resurface, and every time give yourself permission to let it process through, and then start to look for ways to create happiness, reaching out to others, serving others, watching a funny movie, you're allowed to laugh, giving yourself permission and space to adjust and experience some more positive and lighter and relieving emotions. So that's episode 5. You might want to check that one out. But thank you so much for joining me today. After I was unhappy, I became happy again. I found ways to be happy again. I found lots of reasons and ways to be happy again. And I know that you have as well, and that you can again. So trust your process, trust yourself, open yourself up, and let the magic happen. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.